Hey guys, Jay McIntosh here, head instructor owner of No Limit Jiu-Jitsu Starkville, sponsored athlete by Jits Revolution. What I want to talk about today, whether it's for my students or any brand new students that are getting the Jiu-Jitsu and competing, is getting over competition anxiety as well as game planning for a competition. For those that do know me, I've been competing for about 10 years. I'm not the best, but I'm working to become the best. But when I first got started competing, I would freak out leading up to a tournament. I would freak out about weight cuts. I freak out about everything dealing with a jiu-jitsu competition. And then slowly, my professor started figuring this out. He would come to me with like little hints, little tips, and all these things started working out for me. So some things I want to elaborate on today. First off, anxiety. Everyone deals with this. Everyone deals with it differently, though. For myself, getting over the fact that I did something right in a tournament was the biggest shock for me. I mean, after all, as a student of the art, when you're in the academy, that's your comfort settings. You can roll in your academy day in and day out, not worry about anything. All of a sudden, you get on the mat, you do the same thing that you do in the academy. Now you're doing it at the competition, and you freak out because you swept somebody. You escaped the position, you took them down, and you're so caught up in the moment that now you can't capitalize. So getting over things like that, realizing that you're capable of doing whatever it is that you want to do, that you do inside the academy. I was speaking to a student today. His concern was the time that he's putting on the mats compared to some of the other competitors, where he can only train twice a week versus somebody else training 5 times a week. Yeah, statistically, someone would look at that and say, okay, yeah, the person that trains 5 times a week is going to be much better than the person who only trains twice a week. Well, I told this guy is that simply that, for the person that trains 4 or 5 times a week, they may not mentally be in tune to what I'm covering in class, or they may not be pushing themselves 100% because their mentality is thinking, okay, well, if I don't do it today, I can do it tomorrow. If I don't do it today, I can do it tomorrow, over and over and over again. Well, after you say that 5 times, there goes the end of the week. Well, for that one student that's only coming twice a week, he's making the best out of every situation that he's given in those 2 hours of classes that he's getting that week. So for any of those people that are worried about, how you're going to perform, make the best out of what you get. Okay. So if you have time, make sure it's quality time. You could spend 12 hours a week on the mat and still not benefit anything from it. But the time that you do put in, make sure it's the best of it. Back to the anxiety part. Some people freak out, and that's going to be normal. I think one of the biggest things for people to overcome is adrenaline dump. I have had many students that didn't believe the effects of the adrenaline dump until they finally walk out there onto the mat. Some ways to overcome this is breathing. Breathe, 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 breathe. Okay, that is the best and only thing that I can really think of. You have to breathe. If I clinch up with somebody, I'm fighting for the grips, and I'm not breathing, all that blood is going to just swell up your forearms. Okay, I have to breathe. I have to get in that new oxygen for me. All right, so make sure you breathe. All right, and also the best thing to do as you prepare to go into it is have a game plan. It could be the most simple game plan. Something that me and my professor talk about is the initial setups, the initial first punch or first strike mentality. Simply from slapping hands, bump fists, to I get my first grip. I may not have anything past that, but the fact that I initiated and I started the match, I immediately jumped on what I wanted to get, that'll get into the other person's head. So think of one takedown, okay? Drill that one takedown leading up to the tournament. Have one pass, drill that one pass to that one side leading up to the tournament. Make sure you have at least one perfect escape. Okay, it might not be 100% perfect, but at least you have an immediate go-to when you get into a bad position. Have one submission, have one sweep. You don't need a whole plethora of things to, do well in a tournament. If you look at some of my past matches, even my MMA fights, I'm very, very boring. I get in the guard, wait for you to make a mistake, get up, pass. If you're in my guard, I'm going to always go to the butterfly guard, and I'm always going to sweep the exact same way. You don't need a lot of things. Just make the best out of just the very minute things. Stay simple. Keep it simple. With AGF Arkansas coming up, I want to make sure my personal students know that, that's giving you a couple weeks. Don't worry so much about cutting weight. Okay, and I know you guys see me talk about cutting weight and doing this, doing that, but for a jiu-jitsu tournament, especially if you're the first one, just go in there to compete. Okay, go in there with the mentality that you're going to learn something from it. You're going to get the experience from it. You're going to feel jitters. You're going to feel this, but it does get better with time. When I competed the World Championships back in 2014 or 2015 for the first time as a purple belt, I was overwhelmed. I'm looking at these guys and seeing how quickly they start because I didn't compete often. Okay, so it went from me being, a regional good guy to I'm getting thrown in the deep waters. That it was an eye opener. I was trying to figure out, and I was asking all these people, what is the key thing? And they told me compete more. Whether it's in a small tournament or a big tournament, just compete more. I was like, okay. So after my first time competing at Worlds, I competed roughly 15 to 20 times in a year. Yeah, my body was worn down, but I had no more anxiety. I had no more stress about competing. I was confident in what I can do. So for my students, just compete more. Use this first tournament with AGF, American Grappling Federation, because it's a fantastic organization, and go out there and just have fun, okay? So with that said, I encourage everyone to check out Jiu-Jitsu Revolution. Cool dudes that run that company, and I want all of my students to make sure you breathe and you come up with a game plan. If you don't know how to set up a game plan, best thing to do is start a notebook and write from step 1, engage grips, and work on from there. I'll see you guys in class.